I held a Pokemon fusion contest, challenging artists to fuse one new Pokemon from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and one Pokemon from any other generation. And holy crap did they knock it out of the park. I wanted to do this since I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Infinite Fusions on my channel, and I wanted to give back to the community. So I threw in $400 into a prize pool with the following rules. $200 would go to my personal 5 winners, and another $200 would go to whichever winners the community thought deserved it the most. So in this stream I went through all 150 entries to the contest and revealed my 5 winners. And if you want to check out the designs for yourself, I've linked a slideshow in the comments and description. And also, please support the artist. If they gave me their social media links, I've included them in the description, so let them know you love their work, cause I couldn't do this without them. So without further ado, let's look at some fusions. Let's start this off. I'm going through all 150, technically 149. We kicked one person out for stealing art. Let's start it out. The first entry is by Ace of Spades. Now, this looks a bit plain at first, but this is a Dunsparce. They had to make this sprite themselves, and it's fused with Mega Pinsir. I didn't think anyone would use Pinsir in a fusion, but if you're gonna do one, this is pretty damn cool. We also have Angel Kitsune, and okay, this is important, I cannot stress the importance that the first Meowscarada fusion is not furry bait. This is Meowscarada and Liepard, which one, great idea. 2, thank you for not doing furry bait. Glad the very first Meowscarada one was not. Angel Kitsune also submitted 3. This is Braxcalibur and Mega Tyranitar, which is sick. Look at this. I mean, this is just awesome. But that's not my favorite Angel Kitsune one, because they also submitted this. Scorbunny and Tinkaton. And this is gorgeous, because there's so many layers to this design. They clearly took inspiration from the legend of the rabbit on the moon, because they turned the hammer into a mochi hammer, and they have the little moon symbol here. This is a fusion I never would have thought of. So your idea and concept, 10 out of 10. Destroyed by Proxy went for Cerulege and Charmander. Now, I love this one because I expected Cerulege to be mixed with a lot of humanoid fusions, right? So to just go like, no, Charmander. It's adorable. It's great. You also submitted Meowscarada and Delphox, which is a slam dunk. This is a great sprite. I feel like this one really fits like the Gen 4 aesthetic. Arena. This is another one that I adore. So this is Skeledirge and Gardevoir. So if you don't know, Skeledirge, the full evolution of Fuecoco, has a sugar skull on its head, which is a sign of Dios de los Muertos. So they took that Latin inspiration and made a traditional Latin dress for Gardevoir. I think this one is gorgeous. Arena submitted 5 of them. They also submitted this Samurott and Koraidon. This one I love, but I'm just biased because I love Koraidon's like very traditional look. Like very tribal. But they also submitted illustration, such as this Annihilate and Lopunny. I expected everyone to either do sprite work or illustrations, but there were a lot of people who did both, which is unfair talent-wise, I think. I think you have to save some for the rest of us. This is crazy. But look at this. Look at this. Cerulege and Arcanine? I think you just made Zacian. I think in a backwards way, you just made Zacian. Look at this. This is sick. And Meowscarada and Primarina? I think this has a ton of personality. I adore these. Azure Haseo. I think this might be the first Meowscarada Gardevoir. I like what you went with because it doesn't really look like either. You made your own design inspired by the two of them, and I think that's awesome. Mewtwo Cerulege. I think this is one of our only Mewtwo's, and it looks so good. I think you did really well with your use of black outlines to really highlight how cool the armor is, and it keeps from the pixel art from getting like very messy, you know? Blaquaza. This is a great one. This is great. Is this Koraidon? I think this, no, this is Skeledirge. What am I thinking? This is Skeledirge and Lugia. Dude, they're so good. You can tell a lot of these people have worked on Infinite Fusion just from how good their sprite work is. King Gambit and Haxorus. I feel like people sleep on King Gambit, but King Gambit is one of the coolest new generation Pokemon. I didn't even know we needed a Bisharp evolution, but to mix it with Haxorus, it's so cool. Blaziken and Quaxly's final Evo. Look at this. Dude, they're so talented. This is just a start. Remember, we have 150 entries to look through, and they're all high level. Do you guys understand how difficult it was to come up with a top 5? I forgot about this one, the MS Paint one. So all of these were submitted by the same person. You have Skeledirk Lugia, King Gambit Haxorus, Blaziken Quaxquivel, and then Annihilate Duskull. And this one caught me so off guard in the best way possible. Captain Cooties, an illustration. The fact that you didn't outline this at all, and it just looks like you went in raw with colors. Armorage and Genesect? This is sick. Look at like the color mixing for the flames in the back here. That's so cool. Gimmighoul and Mimikyu? Adorable. I like how it's holding the little coin there. Gimmighoul and Muck. Oh, wait, I didn't see this before. There's a little Gimmighoul in Muck's mouth. I really like that. Scorvillion and Hydreigon. Yo, concept-wise, this one is so sick. It's so good. It's so good. Craze Banana. What is this? Grafify and Flygon. It's such a good design. You did so well with this one. Everything from like, look at its little hands. You can see the one blue finger used for painting. They're so fire here. Crumbs. This one was good enough. This is the one I used for the thumbnail for this video. Gardevoir Cerulege. Now, you're gonna see with Crumb's other designs, but the thing I love about their sprite work, you can look, here's another Meowscarada Gardevoir, and Iron Valiant Lucario. None of their sprite work is like too complicated. It's not over-designed, which I think a lot of, like, it's easy to fall into over-designing pixel art, but each of these sprites is so simple, but so clean and well executed. Look at these. All 3 of them, so good. This is one of the cutest. Seal and Graveyard. This is adorable. This is cute. What can I say? This is cute. The talent in this competition is top fucking tier. Derp King Zero. I thought this was crazy because not a surprising amount of people did Dodrio fusions, but I didn't see any other with Farigiraf. I think this is really cute. Okay, Drod15 submitted 3. And I looked at this and I wasn't positive because I'm like, this isn't a fusion. This Gimmighoul just stole Meowth's head. And then you submitted this one. And I'm like, who the hell was gonna make a Veluza fusion? Veluza's the most forgettable Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. Let's be real here, right? But Veluza and Rayquaza? That's sick. And then I saw their next one. Look at this. Look at this! My jaw fucking dropped. How do you think of this? How do you think of this concept? It's so good. And it's animated? You realize the prize was $75. The most money you can get from this contest is $75 from my end. What the fuck are you doing, Drod? I saw you in the chat. I know you're here. You went fucking ham. Amesis, Quaxquivel, and Milotic. This one is great, and you also submitted another, which was Meowscarada and Vaporeon. I see you. I see you trying to pander towards me. It might be working, but you know what? I will say it's hilarious that you drew these two in almost the exact same pose, which I think is funny. Gage Theory. Now, I really like these. These feel like if I bought an indie game, these would be like some of the coolest characters and sprite work for it. I thought this was the most stylized sprite work. This doesn't look like Pokemon, but if I could see this in any sort of indie game, like Shovel Knight or Celeste, I thought these were super cool. Gandalf Monkey, you submitted a lot of them. And you saved me the trouble because you told me what each of them were. We got Tinkaton and Wobbuffet, which is adorable. It looks like a Wynot holding the big Wobbuffet bat, and you even put... Wait, I just realized Wobbuffet's tail is the little head. That's so good. Baxcabrion? That's another one that's sick as all hell. Also, Meowscarada, Volcarona, Magmortar, Armorage, top tier. Top tier Pokemon choices. And also, Totodile Fuecoco. And they included a little message, so I blew it up here so everyone can see. They couldn't post a shiny version and worry of disqualification. You wouldn't have been, but it's okay because after the competition, they're gonna post all their fusion and the shiny on their Twitter and Instagram. So go follow them at Gandalf Monkey and Gandalf Monkey the artist. So there's your plug. You drew cool art for my stream, so I plug you. This seems fair. Genki! I like Whale Lord, and I really like Cetitan, and I love this. Because I think in lore, Cetitans and Cetoddles are whalemers that just climbed up onto land. I don't know if you knew that, but I thought this was a sick fusion. You also did Miraidon and Toxicroak, and it turned out so well. See, this is how I know I'm not an artist type. I don't look at Miraidon and see making the whole, like, effect into Toxicroak's big bulbous, like, bulby thing. Clearly, I'm not a wordsmith either, but what I'm trying to say is your things are gorgeous. Same with your Grimmsnarl Tangrowth. No, wait, this isn't Tangrowth. What's the name of this Pokemon? What's the name of Glamora. Thank you. These are great. Dude, all of these are good. All of these are good. Yo, we're not even a third of the way through the entries. We haven't even seen a third of them. Ghoulpen hitting us with Screamtail and Gardevoir. Screamtail is one of my favorite Paradox Pokemon, but I might just be biased because I really like Jigglypuff. So I love this. Gardevoir is also one of my favorite Pokemon. I will say though, you messed up. Gardevoir doesn't have feet, she just has nubs. Green! Hitting us with a Slam Dunk, Politoed, and Bellybolt. Look at him! He's just a happy little guy! This is another one that I adore. Paldean Whooper and Rotom Wash. I'm not sure why, but this fits together so well, and making his mouth the lid to the washing machine is so good. And then Rowlet Tadbolt. Dude, I didn't expect this one, but I'm so happy now that I see it. This is the shiny Rowlet we deserved, if we're being real. Hoodie Lad, Froakie, and my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon, Fido. I love to see it. You put Fido in something, you get extra points from me. I'm the judge, that's my ruling. Herden, not only giving us a Meowscarada Gardevoir, but giving us a shiny variant as well? Say less. Say less. They look great. Jammo, Cetitan, and Decidueye. I don't know how you think of this combo. I don't know, but it's so good. And it's so dynamic, too. You can see he's, like, landing. Because I think a lot of you forget, there's no sprites for Scarlet and Violet Pokemon. There's not even good PNG images of them. So all of these are being made from scratch by people. All of these they're making themselves. Golem and Knuckle Stack. I think this one turned out really well. This reminds me of when you go hiking and you see people have made the trail markers out of stones. It's sick. Jaders, Mawile and Screamtail. This one is adorable as well. There were a lot of Mawile fusions this time around, like a surprisingly large amount. And this one looks great as well. Iron Bundle. I don't even like Iron Bundle or Dodrio, but this one is so good. I love that all three faces are a different expression, and that you have the bundle as the tail. And I'm just now seeing its legs are like skis. That's so good. I think they put that this is Cyclizar and Blaziken. Dude, we got talented fucking people in this contest. It's nuts. I mean, just look at this. I've got a soft spot towards Blaziken. And Jaders, the execution on this is so well done. This one makes me smile every time. This one makes me smile every time. This is Toadstool and Machop. This is such a good sprite. And then, of course, Bellybolt's been hit in the gym. Look at him. This is terrifying. How did this turn out to be the most terrifying sprite? I love it. Okay, I told you guys that Fido was my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon. That's true. But I really love the entire Smoliv line. And I'm not just being, like, down bad here. But this is gorgeous. Just a Husk, you killed it. And you also made others. I don't even like low kicks. But you made this look so good. Low kicks and Chandelure. These are nuts. Also, Gigalith and Garganacl. This one I think turned out so well. This has turned out so great. Half of this stream is me just bragging about, like, look at all the cool sprites the community made. Aren't these awesome? We all knew that someone was gonna do Aegislash fusions with Armorage and Ceruledge, but holy shit, do these look good. Are these clean as all hell, or what? And I give you props because it's so easy to just build off the humanoid forms of Armorage or Ceruledge, and you said no. I'm sticking with the Aegislash form as the base. Props to you. It turned out so much cooler than it would have otherwise, I think. Those are gorgeous. Okay, this one I kept looking at, I stared at for a long time. This is Wugtrio and Torterra. So you can see there are a ton of little Wugtrios coming out of his body, because instead of the rock that they all live in, it's just a big Torterra. Holy, Chien, Pao, and Rayquaza. I think the legendary Pokemon of this gen have one of the most unique aesthetics that legendary Pokemon have ever had. But I don't think a lot of them look that great. But when you apply that legendary design to other Pokemon like Rayquaza, it looks so good. And look, there's even like a sword in his back. And then another Decidueye, and I think you specified this is Smoliv. He's just a little olive archer. Dude, I'm so happy when I was going through this contest, all I could think is, I only paid $400 in a prize pool for this? I only put up 400 bucks and that gets me shit like this? It's nuts! Knuckles, hitting us with the evolutionary line. Toadschool and Toadscruel and Shroomish and Breloom. You hit us with both? And I love that you did that, Knuckles. They turned out great. Lava Tyrant YT, look up their YouTube channel. If you make me cool art, I plug you. Annihilate and Gengar. This fits because isn't Annihilate just a dead Primeape who got so angry he died? I think that's how it goes. And then Tinkaton and a Alolan Marowak. Dude, people love Tinkaton. I think there's like 7 or 8 Tinkaton fusions and all of them are great. Alolan Marowak is I would argue one of the best designs of Gen 7. And instead of a hammer, I like that it's a scythe. I think that's fun. And this one took me a bit. This one took me a bit because I forgot this Pokemon was in the game. This is Grimmsnarl and Rabsca, the dung beetle, the psychic dung beetle. That's his big ball. It took me a bit to figure out what it is, but it's so good. Legendary Master, Garchomp and Garganacl, Crocodile Skeledirge. I'm surprised you're the only person that did Skeledirge with another crocodile Pokemon. Hell yeah. Points to you for that. And I think you're the only one that used Garganacl as a base and added a different color scheme onto it. I think that's really cool. Lenka hitting us with some artistic masterpieces. I'm glad my boy Frigabax is getting the recognition he deserves. Frigabax Mimikyu here is cute as all hell. Look at the little buttons for eyes. And Vulpix and Fido. I told you, I'm a sucker for Fido. You put Fido in something, I'm happy, but he's baking himself. His little tails are buns that are on fire and baking himself. It's so good. Luca LBDP22, Chien, Pao, and Weavile. This one is cool. I like how you gave him the one big sword fang. It's cool as shit. But you also did others. Scovillian Mawile? I want to see what you see, because I wouldn't have come up with this in a million years, but the minute you see it, it clicks in your brain. You're like, that makes so much sense. Lucia Violet, I love how you fused the same 2 Pokemon, but you did it 2 different ways. With Pawmot and Gallade, 2 different ways. It's great. I love the concept here. Maten, Ceruledge, and Shiftry. Dude, this one is so, like, action-oriented. He's, like, jumping down at you. Melmetal Melts, you have several. Snordo and Coriskull, both of these turned out really well, in my opinion. I love that it's just like a bone motorcycle. This is a Ghost Rider shit. This is Ghost Rider's signature Pokemon, actually. And you also have Annihilable, which is Annihilate and Clefable. And I actually really like this one. I think this one, the more I look at it, the better I like it. And Grafify and Houndoom. Look at the paint dripping off of his tail. And surprisingly, you're one of the few people who use Lucario. Ceruledge and Lucario, I thought would be an obvious one. Because when I announced this contest, there's a couple ones that I thought, oh, people are gonna do this, it's gonna be obvious. But no, You killed it with this. Holy crap. Melmo, we have a couple Photoshop designs. We have Reshiram with Koraidon, Zekrom with Muraidon. You have fused Mega Scizor and Armorage. Oh, no, wait. You have parts of Mega Scizor on both of these. So it's Mega Scizor with both Armorage and Ceruledge. And then you have it with Charcadet in the middle. Top tier Photoshop designs. Milotic, Skeledurg, and Trevenant. And he even has the little ghost birdie. I don't know why, because the entire thing is good, but the little bird is the highlight for me. And I'm sorry, because it looks like you spent so much time on this. Like, to make Black Fire look that good takes a lot of talent. But all I see is the bird, and it's so good. Minced Grass. This is top tier. Slitherwing and Zorark. Look at all the eyes. It fits so well. I just keep staring at it, and there's more that I love. But you actually did a lot of great designs too, so let's take a look at some of the others. Koraidon and Primal Groudon is out of this fucking world. Look at that. It's so cool. You made him less colorful for the better almost, because you made it look like a dry desert to fit in with Groudon's ground type. It's so good. And then Muraidon with Haxorus. Oh, wait, there's a little heart here. Dude, doing this contest was one of the best ideas I ever did. Like, look at these. And also, Arbolova and Roserade. Top tier again. Top tier again. Ceruledge and Darkrai. Now, this is a pretty simple concept, but what you've done with it is so good. The way you blended the colors at the tips of the swords into the fire, and how you mix that fire with Darkrai's natural, like, black and red color scheme, it's so impressive that you just... Using the blue as highlights added so much to this design. Mochi. Now, of all the pixel designs, I think you might have one of the most stylized types of pixel design. Like, these almost feel like an RPG enemy, you know? I mean, I guess they're all Pokemon, they're all RPG enemies. But I see these in something like Dragon Quest. How Alolan Raichu and Pomo and Armorage and Rapidash. The white background also adds a lot to these, but it's so nice and pleasant to the eyes. It almost looks like a storybook design. Really good, Mochi. Nespita, Mawile, and Farigiraf. I never would have thought of that. And the animation for this one is so good. Also, you have another one. Florgato and Decidueye. I could watch this one move for hours. Not only did you have amazing sprite art, but look at the illustrations they made. I'm at a loss for words for how fucking talented you are. Like, what's with that? How can you be this good of an animator, sprite artist, and illustrator? I'm not even good at fucking YouTube! Nibby, Zorark and Armorage is a great idea and concept, and I really love how this turned out. The only, like, constructive criticism I'd say is it's a very weird angle to have it be just facing forward. Novecientos Nueve, I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. I love this Photoshop. Ceruledge and Bisharp. Slam dunk concept idea. Good job. I always forget this one's here, and it always makes me giggle. Tinkaton and Diglett, but its hammer is just 2 Diglets. How can you not love this? Annihilate and Dodrio. Oh my god, I'm just now noticing. Are 2 of the heads dead? Wait, 2 of the heads are dead. That's so cool. Oh my god. Pocky for the win. Now see, this is what I talk about when I don't understand how artists think. Never in a million years when I was running this contest did I think any artist out there would be like, wanna know who we need to fuse together? Aegislash and Smoliv. Like, who thinks about that? And not to mention, it turned out so well. I love this, like, rough sketch line art. It adds so much personality to this. Not to mention, Smoliv has little nub feet, and that's top tier. Punko! Shroodle and Rattata. What can I say? It's adorable. Red Squid. This is probably like the most morbid one we have, and we have some actual like ghost Pokemon on here. To have a Wiglet be coming out of a dead Geodude's head? Red Squids, are you okay? Like, are you good? If you need help, like, let me know. Like, this is gorgeous. I love it. But, like, holy crap, that's morbid. This one made me giggle a lot. Fusing Wiglet and Diglett is so fucking funny. So say, thank you for making this. I needed it. Sissy Princess Brianna. Yo, we got some Garbodor love in here. I'll say it. I am a Garbodor defender. And you know what? I like Espathra's design too. And the dumb, like, side eye it's looking like it's surprised. We caught it off guard. But you also have Knackle and Dwebble. This one turned out so well. It kind of looks like a Minecraft mob, doesn't it? Like, if they ever added hermit crabs to Minecraft, this is sort of what I think it would look like. But I think this one, you knocked it out of the park. Brambleghast and Chandelure, this one is so sick. And I love that you can see through its head to the others. It's such a good design. Holy shit. So, Spranglish Comics. It's Quaxcool and Suicune, which I love. But, and I'm not just simping for Lopunny. This Tinkaton Lopunny, I am in love with the concept here. Because you, like, leaned in to the Magical Girl Sailor Moon stuff. I love that its hammer is a Lopunny and all the hearts. I love, like, the knee-high boots. This one is so good. This might be one of my favorite concepts in the contest. Stardust. I always forget that Poipole is a Pokemon. I always forget it's a Pokemon, but I love this fusion you did with Tadbolt. I love it. Wanna know what this one looks like to me? Not only is it all sorts of adorable Swadloon, it feels like I can see it now. I close my eyes. I'm walking around my local anime convention, or maybe even San Francisco, Japantown. And what's that? There's an artist alley. I'm looking around, I'm browsing. Oh, body pillows. Oh, a booth that's entirely Genshin Impact for some reason. And then I make eye contact with this as a sticker on your wall, and I fall in love with it. And I fall in love with it. And not only that, they also provided Mewtwo and Palafin. Dude, look, everything from the water coming out of the blowhole, it makes it look like Mewtwo Y. Everything about this is so well thought out. And then not to mention, like, they're two very different art styles. I love almost like the really thick cell shaded lines you have on this one for Slitherwings and Scolipede. They're so good. Bramblin and Tangrowth, I said this about a couple of the ones earlier, but it's one of those concepts that when someone says you should fuse these two Pokemon together, it clicks in your head and you're like, of course they should. That makes so much sense, but Swadloon, you were the only one to think of it, and you executed it so well. This one looks so ominous with the one eye, and Swadloon even made this animated Tinkaton and Sandslash. It's just adorable. Like, what more do you say about it? It's adorable. Sylveon Girl! You did a lot of fusions, and I think they came out really well. Gardevoir and Cerulege, nice and simple, but very cleanly executed. And Zoroa Fido, that's unfair. It's so cute. Look at him. Just makes me smile. You also did Miraidon and Salamence. I think this one looks great. But I think this is your best one. Farigiraf Mimikyu is so well executed here, where it's just Farigiraf, but it's wearing Mimikyu's clothes. Are you kidding me? It's so well done. You also did Dragonair and Koraidon, which I think is well executed and well made, but so cruel to the Dragonair. Why are you gonna give him legs but no arms? Sylveon Girl, why? Why must you curse this Dragonair to live a walkless but armless life? TOS. Dude, Knackle and Golurk. Look at this. This is just one of those ones that, it's a very simple concept, but it's so well done. This looks like a transformer. Big ol' salt golem. You also included some others. Not only is it Quillfish and Tadbolt, but you have made the one true pooper. People have made the pooper joke a lot, but this is him. This is the actual pooper. You've done it. I like to think he just drew on a six-pack for himself. Tens! Espathra and Leaveney. I always forget Espathra's name. I thought this was one of the coolest concepts because I love when people do Pokemon that no one else decided to fuse. And like, Espathra, I think a lot of people think is ugly. I think you are going to convince them otherwise because of how well you used its color scheme. But not only are you good at sprite art, but you're gonna go around and throw this illustration in our face. look at the shading on this. This one is so good. This feels like something I would find on Artbreeder and look at the artist with envy over. This one was so well designed. Like, I don't even like Claydol. You're making me like Claydol. The Maniac. So I've complimented some other designs on being really good because they're simple. Yours has so many loose pixels and it only adds to it. And that's so difficult to do. It looks so good. So good. Decidueye Skeledirge? Dude, I'm happy that Skeledirge got so much love in this contest. Because Skeledirge is like my favorite of the 3 starters. And this one looks so good with the flaming arrow and everything. And you even included elements because he's the flaming bird now. So it looks great. But the Maniac, this is by far my favorite one of your designs. Turning Mega Sceptile's tail into a Christmas tree because of Iron Bundle. I could stare at this one for hours with a smile on my face. And even the small details, like the frost on the leaves. The Mew 108. Okay, I'm glad someone used Cosmog. I'm a sucker for all things space. And Meowscarada is awesome, but adding the space texture from Cosmog just makes me happy. It's just, mwah, mwah. This looks great, Mew. Toad 900. So, I didn't know what people would be submitting for this contest. I didn't know what Pokemon they would want to include, right? I didn't think anyone would use Simisear. I didn't think anyone would use Simisear or Grafaifi. Well, I thought people might use Grafaifi, but you made me like Simisear. And Toad 900, I don't know how that makes me feel. I hate Simisear. It's one of my least favorite Pokemon. This looks so good. And even the small details of giving it the one big finger, like Grafaifi has. You paid a lot of attention for that. But Sliggoo and Tinkertuff, how could you not like this? How could you not like this? Wait, is this Hisui in Sliggoo? Yeah, because it has the snail shell. It's hard for me not to like the Tinkaton line and anyone that incorporates them, because this just looks great. The Mice and Dugtrio, you even included... It's just good. Like, I'm so happy. I've got the biggest, dumbest smile on my face. I'm just happy with all of these. I don't think I've ever said this, but Eldegoss is another one of my favorite Pokemon. And Tomate, Eldegoss, and Arboliva, it looks so good. And then you fixed something that I think is a huge missed opportunity in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. You gave Iron Wings, Iron Moth, a pre-evolution by mixing it with a Larvesta. Thank you for doing the Pokemon Company's work, because this should have been a thing. The more I look at the Eldegoss Arboliva one, the more I think, like, that's just a Pokemon. Like, if this thing pops up in Gen 5, that just looks right. It looks correct. Weirdo. Another Gardevoir Meowscarada. This one, great. And what a nice background for it, too. Holy crap. And you got the little nubs on the feet right. Wendy. We've seen a lot of illustrations today. These have probably the most defined style of all of them. These have style. And it's very clear that you have a lot of experience with this, is everything from the shading on each of these. Like, Gardevoir and Gallade and Ceruledge and Armorage, we all knew it was coming. But the execution here is so fucking well done. Wenzi. How are you the only Gyarados fusion? Gyarados and Miraidon. How are you the only Gyarados fusion in this entire competition? But if there had to be one, I'm glad they knocked it out of the park. Props. Okay, Xenophacalus. Outside of having a really hard name, I almost disqualified this because it's a triple fusion. So this is Dusclops and Tinkaton, but instead of a hammer, you gave it a Scyther Scythe, which I think is really cool. And I don't know if I would have, like, kept it in, but your other 4 are also really fucking good, and I couldn't resist not showing this. King Gambit Shiftry, this one looks so good. This is some ancient Oda Nobunaga stuff. This is just Pokemon Conquest. I've included their Sprigatito Badoo. Also, this is the only Sprigatito in the competition somehow. But not only did they knock it out of the park? They did an entire evolutionary line. Like, you made an entire evolutionary line here. All three. 3 for 3. It's so good. XXX Dietub? Another Pokemon I constantly forget it exists. So much so, I have to look to the side to remember that it's called Balafone. Balafone and Grafify. I think this might be one of the creepiest ones. If I woke up at the dead of night and I saw this at the foot of my bed, I think I'm just having a heart attack. I don't know if you intended for this to be as terrifying as it is, but the extra long noodle limbs are so scary. And our final 2 entries, Palmy and Minccino, and Fido and Jigglypuff. These are so cute. Look at these. I want this as like a plushie. And he even has his little yeast breath. Like, the attention to detail and passion and love you all put into these is so clear. But unfortunately, there can only be 5 winners. And so last night I went through them all. And I chose my 5 winners. And it wasn't easy. Because I was literally like, I made this slideshow. And then I literally spent 4 hours going back and forth, switching out my Pokemon. It was difficult. It was really hard. You guys saw the level of talent. I'll probably have another fusion contest because honestly, the level of creativity in this one was nuts. But without further ado, starting off with the first one tied for 3rd place. It's an early one. Arena, you knocked it out of the park. And I gave extra points for concept for this one. I'm not just simping for Gardevoir. Fusing Skeleturk with a Pokemon is one thing, but you went above and beyond because you went to the inspiration of Skeleturk, which was the Sugar Skull, and adding a traditional Latin American dress to Gardevoir, the color scheme and the motion of this was nuts. So I award you so many points. I think you had one of the best concepts in this competition, combined with the execution. I gotta love it. Speaking of amazing concepts, another early one was Angel Kitsune. The minute I noticed that you turned the hammer into a mochi hammer, and that this was inspired by the Japanese myth of the rabbit on the moon and mochi festivals and doing all that, how could I not award that? This, I think, was the cutest of all the designs. Everything from concept to execution. This feels like a sticker I would buy and put on my water bottle and PC and everything. I think those were the two of the best concepts. Also, Nispita, I know you're in chat. All 4 of your entries were killer, and I knew, as soon as I saw all 4 of them, I knew one of you was gonna win. I knew one of yours was gonna win, so I chose my favorite one of yours. Mawile and Farigiraffe, the animation for this is so fucking clean. Is so clean. It's so good. Number 2. So I do want to preface something with number 2. So with number 2, I graded each entry individually so that people who entered 5 pieces of work or groups, like some of the evolutionary lines we see, wouldn't have an advantage over people who just submitted 1. I have 2 entries by the same person for number 2 because either of them I think would have won. Wendy, I think of all the illustrations, has the most stylized ones. And I could not decide between which of Gardevoir Armorage or Gallade Cerulege I liked more. So Wendy, you're getting 2nd place. Because holy shit, I love your art style so much. But after going through all 150 entries, drawed 15, this one, holy shit. This is something that no matter how many years in a cave you make, I would never think of this. Congratulations. The minute I saw this, I knew it was the winner. I don't even like Omastar. I don't even like Kevavroom. But this is so good. I stared at this for 15 minutes with my jaw on the goddamn ground. But I'm so impressed with you. I'm so impressed with you. I'm sorry not everyone could win. There were a lot of ones that were so close. There was so much fucking talent in this contest. I'll make this slideshow public eventually. I'm gonna put up a video about the contest. And when I do, I'm gonna make this entire slideshow public. So all of you are gonna be able to see and look at these designs. Congrats to everyone. I truly loved every entry, and thank you all for entering the contest. See you all later. Have a nice rest of y'all's day.